Howdy, folks. How's it going? Martin, Natriaz, how you guys doing? So, going to start off today, just going over, recapping some of the latest news going on over in Stowe. Want to try to go through both the PC side of things and, of course, the console side. So, let me get that pulled up here. Let me know if the audio is coming through fine. I had my cat messing around with the audio mixer this morning, so just knocking some of the knobs around on it. I think I got everything back to how it normally is, but okay. From Nuke, how you doing? We get the display capture on. Okay, so really for this week in Stowe, let's start off with the patch notes here. Get those opened. I don't think there was anything really big this week for PC. Just a couple small fixes, some text descriptions. Yeah, go ahead, Martin. Man, you need a normal sleep schedule. Yeah. I woke up I think around 10 p.m. last night, so slowly it's getting back on track. Giant Dutch Viking, how you doing? Yeah, my sleep schedule always gets really messed up. It's a problem for me. So, this week they updated some of the text on the Endorian Summer Squall kit module, Shadow of the Black Mountain. Really, I don't think there was really anything big on the PC side of things. For console people, you just got a bunch of things that we got a couple weeks back. So the Red Alert event that we had, you're getting just now. Nothing like super big in here. I think some of the PvP changes that had happened for PC, yeah, the Red Gravwell trait, that's finally going live on, or did go live on consoles. So nothing super big this week for the patch notes. And of course, we had the MUDs primary faction choice pack come out. I think you've heard from many now, and I think most of the people I've seen talking about this on Reddit, the Discords, all the places I've been looking, most people pretty much are in the same thought of the Delkina and the Sarcophagus are really the only two ships that really stand out in this bundle. The Jem'Hadar Recon, the Crossfield Science Spearhead, really not the most popular options here. And I'm going to talk about this probably in a video sometime next week, but I don't like the precedence that this MUDs bundle is setting for future MUDs bundles. So if we go back and look at like the Kelvin or like the Out of Time MUDs bundles, when there was a lockbox or a set of ships that came from the same lockbox, they were grouped up into a single box. So like with the Kelvin MUDs bundle, You got the Kelvin Connie, the D4X, and then like the Talaru or whatever, all in one of the choice pack options. Now, with this primary faction choice pack, the Crossfield and the Sarcophagus came from the same lockbox. They came from the same box on the exchange. Now, instead of having them both together as one option, they've split them apart. So, what this means going forward is that for any ships that existed is like there were 3 ships in the box, like one for each faction. They're probably going to split them apart from now on. I think they realized that the Kelvin bundle had too much value in it, given that there were so many ships in it. And I don't think they want to do that moving forward, especially when some of those ships are, promotional that had the 3 different versions. Like the Enterprise J has a Fed, ROM, and KDF version. So I won't be surprised if that, ends up being split into 3 different options in a MUDs pack. Same for like the Temporal, D7, Connie, Talis, and the Atlas. I think now that they've done this, they're probably going to split the 3 ships that were in that Atlas pack into, 3 different options, unfortunately. Yeah. And the legendary Jemadar ship really made the recon ship in this bundle like just absolutely terrible value. Betty, I believe you can. Just keep in mind that the master keys are bound. So you have to, if you choose them, you have to open the lock boxes yourself. The card, how's it going? Yeah, exactly, Atraz. Like, instead of having the Universe, Falcus, and the Durgath as one option in a Mud's Choice pack, I think what we're going to see is that they're all going to be individual options in a Mud's pack in the future, which I think is quite unfortunate. Alan, how's it going? So yeah, just yeah, Muds is really expensive, but compared to the cost of gambling in this game, it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Most people spend like what it costs to get an entire, pick 3 choice pack quite often on just getting one promo ship for one character. So I don't think the value is amazing, but compared to the alternative methods that we have, which is just gambling to get the ship on a single character, Muds is a much better option in that comparison. But from an outside comparison, 150 bucks for a bundle like this is a fairly hard thing for a lot of people to digest. Vic, how's it going? So my recommendation still stands for this bundle. If you just get it, get the pick 3 choice pack, Delkina, Sarcophagus, and probably just the Crossfield, just to have an extra Admiralty card. And it's not a bad size ship. There's better, but I think given the choice between an account wide unlock premium ship and 50 master keys, well, I can always go out and get 50 master keys in the future. In order for me to go back and get the Crossfield on account unlock, if I don't choose it with the 3 pack, I would have to buy another 3 pack. So I think, to me, as much as I hate it, being that I have everything from it already on account unlock, I'd probably just go with the Crossfield. Yeah. I mean, a lot of games with the microtransaction nowadays, they get very expensive. Like, Stowe is not the only game that has this issue. Um, it's just a bad trend throughout the entire industry, I would say. So, the last bit of PC specific news, we have a double XP running, or double XP event running right now, and this ends on Monday. So if you had any characters you wanted to get leveled up here during the weekend, now's a very good time to go through and do that. On the console side of things, you got a bonus mark event. So the bonus mark event is running alongside the Borg Red Alert that's running over there. This is going to run for the 2 weeks, just like it did on PC. So, if you're on console, if you're working on a new character or you need rep marks, really good time to spam the red alerts over there and get your marks. Ship sale on console, 20% off, pretty standard sale. If you're patient and you can wait just a couple more months, Black Friday is probably going to have better sales just like it did last year. So Lil, how's it going? Yeah, Martin, yeah, the research assignments help to level up during these events, but yeah, they are going to cost you a bit. We have a ship bundle sale at the moment. Do you think the 10th pack will return in the future, or should I get it now? Um, I would say Giant Dutch Viking, if you've been waiting for the 10th anniversary pack and you're on console, yeah, definitely. I would say the normal ship sale that's going on console right now is not that big of a deal, but the legendary sale that console has right now, which is running up through the end of the month, definitely is something to consider. And the 10th anniversary bundle, that there's just so much in that pack. The value is insane. So I'm always going to recommend, if you have the money to get the 10th anniversary pack and you actively play STO a ton, it's definitely one of the best investments into the game you can make, because it does unlock a lot of traits, a lot of consoles, and a lot of very good ships. But outside of the 10th anniversary bundle, like I've said before, I always am going to highly recommend the legendary Romulan bundle. I just think that has a lot of value also. The Scimitar, the legendary Scimitar, is one of the best ships for DPS in the game. And the legendary Doderidex, it's an okay ship, but you're mostly getting it for the trait, that rapid emitting armaments. If you've ever played through the story missions, you know how those Romulan ships have those really hard hitting plasma torps. That's basically the trait off of the legendary Doderidex, rapid emitting armaments. It does that type of damage to your opponents, basically. It's really good. A lot of the very high-end builds use it, but it does have the downside of, if you launch it while the targets are too close to you, they can damage you, so you have to be careful with it. But really fun trait to use. I very much like it. And I think that's really it for the news. Is there anything you guys wanted to ask about the sales or anything? So most of the sales are on console right now. On PC, the only sales we have are the mud sale that's going on for the new choice pack, and then that big 75% sale off the rest of the store, the mud store, and then the double XP event. Love-hate relationship with REA? Yeah, I think a lot of people do. But REA, if you figure out how to use REA, the trait from the legendary Doderidex, it really is quite good. Picard, that's going to depend on, how much use are you going to get out of it on console. If you play STO on console as much as you do on PC, and you feel like you already know, the value of the 10th anniversary bundle to yourself, being you have it on PC. So, if that's something that you've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of, then, I wouldn't see why not. The tractor beam one, yeah, Martin. Have I beaten SWTOR? No. I had a really hard time with SWTOR. Warships, I'm still grinding things up in warships. Did I see the leak on Reddit about the bridge officer token? Yeah, let me pull that up without showing things on screen that I shouldn't. Okay. So the Elite Bridge Officer token, this is something that was supposed to come out before the summer event, but they have had a ton of issues with. And basically what this token is going to do is it's going to let you upgrade your bridge officers. So you'll gain a trait slot in which you can put a ground trait slot onto your bridge officer to improve its performance on the ground. You'll be able to give your bridge officer a kit frame, It'll automatically train up all of the standard training manuals, so all of the standard abilities that you could go and get from a trainer on like DS9, ESD, the standard ones that you can already get, straight from a vendor. None of the lockbox ones like Chemosite though. Um, Giant Dutch Viking, it is an old leak, but they've changed it now. So the other thing here is an upgrade to ultraviolet quality, which we don't quite know what all that's going to entail. There were leaks of this thing in which it was supposed to like increase all the traits on the bridge officer up to a superior rank. But obviously that's no longer listed here. It's not detailed in the description of it. That this is the current state of the token. I think it's interesting. We need to see if there's going to be any space impact, if it does increase the rank of the traits on the bridge officer up to the max quality. But right now, if I look at what it says right here, I don't think this is worth it, because this is going to cost, they're looking at charging you $15 per bridge officer that you want to train up. And if all you're getting is basically the ability to put a trait and a kit frame on a bridge officer, I don't care about these. That basically is just making it so you can have more powerful bridge officers in story missions, because in the current state of the game, you cannot take your bridge officers in with you into like ground TFOs. So what the hell's the point? Which I think is what I'm seeing in chat here. Necronics, how you doing? Atrias, that's possible. I mean, there's been a lot of bugs that have slipped through with bridge officers because of them messing around with the system. The racial traits being unlocked on all bridge officers there post Stormfall was a good example. But yeah, I just don't see the value in this elite bridge officer token in this state here. Like it's cool that I get these, basic abilities trained onto the bridge officer. Cool, but I don't care, I don't, bridge officers are used in so little, just no content really uses them outside of story missions, right? So story missions are already really easy if you play them on normal. There's no reason to play them on advanced or elite. There's not really an increased reward. So it just really seems worthless to me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Michael. If this has no effect on space combat, it's dead on arrival. Especially $15 per bridge officer. The original thought was that if this did improve bridge officer traits to the superior quality, let's say you're on a Jem'Hadar Vanguard, those bridge officer traits, those are not the superior version, or there's at least not a superior version in the name. But if that upgraded those traits on those Jem'Hadar Vanguard bridge officers, that would be worth it. But this isn't something that would make your Romulans better. But yeah, $15 per. Got a fly flying around me. Terrible. $15 per is just crazy to me. Not worth it. Maybe they will throw them in Phoenix boxes. Yeah. Yeah, they've completely devalued T6X tokens. Like, with the MUDs bundles, the 9 experimental ship upgrades, like if you do the pick 3 choice pack, you're basically paying $50 per thing that you choose. So you're paying $50 for 9 experimental ship upgrades. Before they put those in Phoenix, that would have been an understandable, okay value. But now with the current iteration of the Phoenix store, that's just a joke, because if you open $50 worth of Phoenix packs, what is it, like for every $1.60 or something you put into Phoenix packs during the Phoenix events, you can get an experimental ship upgrade token. So yeah, If they throw them in the Phoenix store or in the Dill store, that might be a Dill sink for a little bit, but if there's no impact on the space side of things, nobody's going to care. If this just impacts ground, yeah, nobody will care. Yeah, yeah, that would be well, I think the way this is going to work is the bridge officer would have to be bound to you, or it would have to be equipped to you, so you wouldn't be able to just use this on bridge officers that are just sitting in your roster. They would have to be actually ones that are already on your character. Sark, how's it going, man? What, you need our captain upgrades? Yeah. Like if I go in game, like getting the T6X upgrade tokens because of Phoenix is so stupidly easy nowadays. Like what is it? It's 5 of the very rares to get a single T6X token. Like you get those stupidly easily. I'm sitting at 39 T6X tokens. Like I didn't spend that much, money wise to get those. Um those are just from Phoenix. The very, converting the very rare Phoenix tokens over. They've completely devalued the experimental ship upgrade tokens. Yeah, Sark, so the Elite Bridge Officer trading token, I could see it for somebody brand new to the game, which I think is how they try to direct a lot of their sales right now. Um, I think they're trying to direct a lot of things towards new players that don't understand anything. And to someone who's going through the story missions and doesn't understand things, they may want their bridge officers a little bit more powerful. So that does make sense. 15 bucks to make your bridge officer significantly better. Yeah, I see that. I had a comment yesterday, um, on the video about the Muds faction bundle from Cold Napalm, where he's pretty much saying, or they're pretty much saying that the pack is directed at new players who came in with the new Trek shows, and it's not meant the Muds faction bundle isn't meant for people that really understand the game. It's meant to attract the people coming in from the newer Trek shows and hoping that they see that they could just directly buy the Discovery, um, and some of the ships that they may recognize, from. But there are some ships that really stand out from the newer shows, so they're just trying to capitalize on that, which is a fair point. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's a fair point. But yeah, monetize leveling. I mean, they've already tried to do that. They have the instant level tokens in the store for 120 bucks, without a sale. As part of the captain bundles. Like, yeah, they they want to monetize that. Yeah, because it's not like an end game player focused bundle. I mean, the Delkina is the only ship in there that, like, to a DPS player stands out, right? Um, if they're giving a Muds pack to us that is like targeted at existing players, it's going to be a pack that has like the Atlas in it, the Disco, Miracle Worker D7, or the Donnie. Um, those types of packs with the ships that are really popular to the player base, um, at a more min max or end game level, that would be a pack directed towards players like us. But a pack like this, yeah, is not meant for us. Oh, my endeavors today: destroy Zenkethi ships, deal Tetrion damage, defeat Gorn on Nimbus. So the way that I usually do this, and um, it pains me to say it, but Cryptic has an effective deal sync with these endeavors for me because I just won't do some of these endeavors. Yoshida, how's it going? Yeah, and that's the thing too. I've had people on videos before where they're like asking about whether or not they should just buy the insta level token or if they should skip ahead to end game. And it's like with this game, you really want to experience the story missions. I never do the Gorn on Nimbus. Yeah, screw that. Deal phase damage ground. That's easy. Zenkethi space. I'm not feeling that right now. Oh, come on. There we go. That's more like it. Deal kinetic damage space. Deal Tetrion damage space. Deal phaser damage ground. Leveling is 99% of the content. Yep. So, like I showed in the video about how to do private TFOs earlier this week, when I get like a deal phaser damage ground, I just open up the private window, go right into Operation Wolf. I haven't even played the two new missions. I think a big thing for me, that's a bit of a disconnect between me and many of the other content creators and a lot of the other players, is I don't like I when I first got into this game, I got into it because it was Star Trek. And it was a ship or, a game where I could go and fly ships around. And more over time, like I'll occasionally do some missions, but it's not the main focal point for me to play the game. I'm more here for the space mechanics. um it's a spaceship game for me, so I really I don't play the missions much, which I know is weird to some people. Like it's I think the quality on a lot of missions, you like from the few of the newer ones that I've done, like definitely the quality is better than the ones that were in the game a decade ago, but um it's not why I play the game. I'm here because whether it's PvP, PvE, I just like to fly my ships around, blow things up. Yeah, and the writing is I've not always been a fan of all the writing decisions. Yeah, Chrome Nuke, there's some of these endeavors. Like I could go over to Nimbus and do that. I'd rather just do like the this Operation Wolf here and just get it done real quick. Like I do have to wait the minute for the briefing time, but all I have to do is a phaser damage, so. Like Agony Field makes this a bit of a joke, being its phaser damage. And just like that. Now, once you get the endeavors done, the easiest way to get out of the map is just to let them kill you. Respawn and then beam out. Yeah, there's still some older missions accessible, and um I think is it still a thing where people still have some older missions and then they just share them to you? They team up and share them to you. Are people still doing that? I don't even know anymore. Yeah. I mean, it's not that the storylines are all terrible or anything. It's just like I said, it's not why I play the game. Terrible. Exceed rated limits, shield healing in space to thwart us. You've lost most of your saved missions? Yeah, I know some get removed. on a side nuker build. My entire UI is gone. Okay. Okay. My HUD is completely messed up on that character, so let me go fix that. Earth HUD's gone. Yeah. The long delay in this new content, like, you know, for me, maybe I'll probably go through and do the story content once the entire arc is out. But yeah, the 6 month delay, you know, this really long delay between the missions is just killer. Thank you, Gromnik. Okay, so I'm going to save my loadout, or the HUD on this character. Save it. I want to go back over to SOB. Hopefully it is going to properly load it, because whatever happened to SOB is just... Yay, it worked. I miss the Foundry missions. That's what I miss. I was talking to some people in Discord just a couple hours ago, and we were looking at old YouTube videos on our channels, and I was looking at some of the older like Foundry maps that I had made, like the exotic DPS test map and all that. And yeah, I miss those days. Okay. Tetrion damage space and kinetic damage. Chrome Nuke, thank you for the membership. Please, that gonna pop up there. Thank you very much. So I need to slap a Tetrion something on here. Go Tetrion turret and hope that that can do it. I'll slap the Tetrion Torp on too, just so I can get this endeavor done. So let's go into Elite Argala. Yeah, the Breen missions. I still remember like spending forever going through some of those maps and like the original Defara map. 2 T6 from 50 keys? You lucky. Lucky son of a gun. Yeah, I'm gonna put that Torp as my main firing Torp. I'm gonna need to touch your own damage. Yeah, 2 is real lucky.
You have entered a... Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their thoughts might come out of hiding.
There she goes. Yeah, that's really good luck. Okay, so that is that done. I can get this terrible Tetrion Torp off this build. Pretty much. That's usually how it goes, right? I did pick up the Bozeman. I don't remember if I mentioned this, so I didn't want to go out and grab the full bundle, and I didn't initially think I was going to get the Bozeman, but the damn console on that thing's just too important for the types of things that I do in the game. The debuff on it is really good for the high-end runs, and I think, yeah, here it is, the Tachyon Netron console. Like, it's got good passives on it, but the clicky on it's just so damn good. It's a really large debuff that'll apply to all foes within 3 kilometers. The perception for PvPers is nice. The crit chance severity, like, it's a pretty good damn console. Yeah, the throne. Yeah, the toilet seat, or toilet bowl as some people called it. The courage is really a good ship. It's just that it's so niche that it's hard to recommend to a lot of people. This is what Game Freaks used when he did his 3 million ISE run. Use the courage because it's a really potent side torp platform. It's got a battle cloak. The courage. The Saturn is the toilet seat, right? Yeah, I used my account bound coupon to get the Bozeman. Yeah, the Saturn's the seat, and the Courage is the throne itself. I have not tried the Bozeman yet. To be honest with you, it's like even with that like that legendary or not legendary the temporal D7, it's really hard for me to go back to using like single target energy weapon platforms because I feel like I'm just like using beam overload, surgical strikes. I feel like I'm just like shooting a water gun at the enemies. Like it does no damage compared to a torque boat. I've been spoiled by the torque boats, but the torque boats, the thing about them is they've been so overhyped. They're not as good as people go on about with them. The build I don't think has been posted yet for the Thaleron because there hasn't. Kel wants to get a better write up, and I know there's been conversations regarding figuring out some more about the specifics with the formula within the game to actually boost Thaleron up to its max potential. Um, so there's still some theory crafting going on, and I think it's just really hard to get runs at that level together. The level of coordination, like there's a lot of players that are interested in the DPS stuff, but there's not many players that are interested in the DPS stuff and also in that level of team coordination. So it makes finding people for that stuff really difficult. And Chel's been having a really hard time getting a team together to do that type of run. Because basically, with the speed of like the ISAs, Chell has to have like the bus and MB in there to take the sides out because they're right now they're the two best cannon scatter volley pilots for ISA. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Um, the issue is the team requirements because you need people that can work in a really fast time compressed environment like that. Keep in mind, those Thaleron runs, the ISA one was 13 seconds. The entire run, start to end, 13 seconds. Most people that play this game and do DPS are not used to that level of speed. So it's really difficult for people. I think I showed the like my point of view, right? Yeah, I did on the stream I did on Tuesday, which I then made private because I talked about things that I wasn't supposed to. Later on listed it, but I need to not talk about data mined things on streams anymore. I'd probably be very good, being there's already people trying to report me for things that are much less significant. Um, but yeah, this Thaleron run, like the team pre-positions, like the cannon scatter volley build players need to be really good. The support players in an ISA run need to be able to debuff things, all these probes. They have to get the probes up to the top of the gateway really fast and to get as many debuffs on them as possible. And in this run, I basically did nothing. I did not have, to be blunt, I didn't have my shit together for this run because I didn't know what the hell to expect. And I did not get as many debuffs on those spheres as I could have. So if I had better organized or better prepared myself for that type of run, I think we could have had a much higher number. Terrible. Yeah, that's the issue. Sark is just that level of gameplay. Like, there's not many people at that level. It's the same for ISC. Like for ISC, in these ISA runs, you got to have the two people that can nuke the start really fast, go to the sides, take them out, and then get back to the center to take that out really fast. If I fully play this, like you see how fast the start dies. The sides are dead right there. 6-7 seconds in, the sides are dead. There's just not many people at that skill level in this game. Kathy, thank you for the $2. Yeah. Apply face to keyboard, exactly. And for ISE, there's still some thoughts that have to be done um to like figure out some of the strategies for that are the most optimal. But it's looking like a high-end torp boat to nuke the start. Two decent side nukers, one on each side to take the sides out quickly. It's for the torp stuff. That, like I said on Tuesday or when I did the stream earlier this week, that there's basically under 5 people in the game that can do the side nuking at that level. And yeah. This is the side nuker that I was using. When we were trying our ISE runs, it has PFP on it because I needed the survivability at the center because we don't have a tank in there. But yeah, this is what I was doing. It's like a side torp mix. The issue with the side, like the side nukers like this, is getting everything for the build, like getting the ship, the build. That's all really expensive on its own, and then there's actually getting in, getting practice done, being good enough, proficient enough with the torpedoes, because you basically got to get to the side, take it out, including the spheres, in like 10-15 seconds is what we were looking at. Then I need to go to the center, face the tac cube, but target the spheres right up on the gateway and apply debuffs to them. Make sure I've got my beta and SAD up so that I can debuff the spheres with my aft turret and beams. Just a lot that has to be done in a short time. How does one train to get to that level? For the ISA, for the cannon scatter volley, they literally just spam pug queues. Like MB's got loads of videos over on his channel showing piloting with the with like the VOD War Juggernaut. Let me go pull that up. Like MB has loads of videos over on his channel, which I will link. MB's got loads for CSV. He's one of the best cannon scatter volley pilots in the game, if not the best. Pretty much blows everyone else out of the water when it comes to cannon scatter volleys in ISA. Chell's a very skilled player. But I think the issue for Chell and the issue for a lot of people, there's a lot of very skilled players when it comes to DPS roles, but a lot of people don't get experience in the high-end environment for a variety of reasons. A lot of it's just because getting a team. When it comes to doing any of this DPS stuff, if you don't have a team to do the team-based maps, you're not going to get a DPS record. But it's a lot of theory crafting to figure out the builds and all that, and Chell's put a lot of work in on the Thaleron stuff. Just a lot of work, a lot of practice. When we were doing ISE runs for Thaleron, trying to get some Thaleron runs in, we spent a couple hours at it, and I think the best we got was like a 2.7, so almost matching the top record right now. But there's a lot of things that have to be figured out in there. Yeah, the courage is my favorite side nuker right now. I do like the Cheval for side nuking also, but that's slightly slower. Yeah. And the thing is too is as soon as there is more than one person in a run, It's not about your individual DPS. It's why I don't bother with like the competitive runs anymore, because especially with the torp mechanics, you get more than one person in the run with torps, you're not getting a record. It's and Thaleron especially is heavily dependent on your team, because the Thaleron user is not hitting a ton of abilities. You know, they're getting into position right away. Um, they are trying to time some of their abilities, and I foresee a lot of people that try to copy the Thaleron failing when it comes to timing those abilities, especially when coordinating with their teams. So timing is important. Working with your team, very much so. That's weird, Ramsman. I don't really know. I'm not aware of a targeting bug. But like if I was practicing the side nuker, the way that I would do it is I would go into a private ISE, wait for the cooldowns, nuke the start, and then wait for the cooldowns, nuke the side. That's how I would generally practice with the like the side nuker. Actually, I need to go through and check some duty officers. Pretty much everything that I had posted bounced back off the exchange. Is always fun.
Platinum is a girl's best friend.
What off slots do I have here? Okay. Jose, how's it going? These 42s are very slow moving. Wow, these things have crashed. 42s used to be quite expensive, and now they are very much not expensive. So do I have any board offs here? 18. 45 mil. I'll put this up for 40. I meant to get a video out yesterday too, going over the what I was looking at for the event campaign box, but just was not in a mood yesterday to get a video done early in the morning, and then I slept pretty much most of the day. So how to upgrade your infinity weapons? That's a good idea actually for me to do, is to rip open some of these weapon packs that I've got. What I hate with these weapon packs is actually trying to open them. I've already talked about this before, but it's generally just a massive pain. I've got 34 weapon packs here, and I want to see what the most valuable options are before I go and rip these open. So let's search up Agony, because everyone loves Agony weapons. 8.5 mil. Discovery is a little bit cheaper. Yeah. Getting into the elite runs, like the extreme high-end runs, is already really hard to do, because, you know, you gotta find one of the groups that is doing those types of runs and then get them to take you in. And burnout, yeah. A lot of people will get burnt out well before they can get to those runs. Because it really, like, when you start to get it to that level of play, you get really frustrated with the game. because the server performance sucks. Like you're going to be spending 2/3 of your time just fighting a server that does not want to support 5 players that are that geared up with that many traits and abilities going out at the same time. The servers cannot handle it. CrossFit is the quantum warhead module. I the last I remember it wasn't that great for UD. If you have, let me see, there's like the Crystal Prism console that I think people were using as like a free option. Like the Crystal Prism will work perfectly fine for triggering UD if you spam it, but it does like no damage. But it works. And if you have that from the event, no, that's handy. I want to check bowel weapon packs also quick. Very limited supply of these. It's ball and yet. I'm gonna rip some ball packs open. Stargate has gun. Yeah, but the timing on the quantum warhead module can not always perfectly align with it. Like, look at how much it sucks opening these weapon packs. It doesn't remember my previous selection, so every time I have to go through, and if you're opening, loads of these weapon packs, it just sucks. Let's make this easier. What is the play key? F12. Yeah, take your time. And Martin, I'm fine on weapon boxes. I just have these ones lying around, and is my mail flashing? Did you send some, Martin? The legendary Talis, yeah, I think it's a really good ship. Assault Formation Theta from it, if you do a lot of like torp spammy builds where you like to cloak up a ton, it's a really good trait. But yeah, I'm gonna rip these ball weapon packs. Oh, yeah, I'm just ripping these open, Mart, so you don't have to worry. Oh man, you need to say no. I'll tell you that, and the legendary Jem'Hadar Captain bundles are the only ones I bought in. The Talis is a good ship. It's very similar stats wise to the legendary Scimitar, but the trade on it's just too damn good. Okay. Thank. I'm sorry. Thoughts on agony weapons? Yeah, Giant Dutch Viking. Yeah, these are the weapon packs or drops from Infinity Lock boxes like that. The ones where it gives me a choice. Thoughts on agony weapons? I still have the weapon lock boxes from the 12th anniversary bundle. I'm not that big into the agony weapons, but I know a lot of people like them. If they fit the theme that you're going for, go for them. I mean, from a performance point of view, I don't really care about them, but people go absolutely nuts for them. I think I may have a few weapons. Okay. I'm just gonna empty some of this inventory out. So maybe just a couple slots in the inventory and I'll be fine. I wish you could just like double click on things in your inventory to put in the video. Do a giveaway. I have that video on like the most efficient upgrade methods, but with those, with the anniversary agony weapons, I don't remember how they're distributed. I have it terrible. Yeah, you can't get the Omni or the wide arc, so it's true. Okay. Apparently I have some assimilated packs, and I also have these bowls. Okay. Team. Oh, it sucks with these weapon packs is look at the like the layers of this crap that I have to go and click through. Yeah, I think that's part of why I don't care for them is I don't go too hard into like the theme stuff like someone like Trizio does. Well, advanced phasers when they initially came out, wasn't it like a damage boost and then they changed it to crit severity? Yeah, I've got a video going over some of the upgrade methods, but let me find them. You've probably seen it. Drop the link in chat. That was going over some of the approaches I use when I upgrade gear. But with those anniversary weapons, I don't remember exactly how they're distributed, so yeah, advanced phasers are still good. Definitely some of the better phaser beam arrays if you're into running beam arrays, because the bonus on them stacks up so much. Okay. I'm gonna set this thing to repeat 30 times. So F8. Opening these weapon packs, I wish they made this an easier process, but they've made it so difficult to open a ton of these packs at a time. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go with the dual beambank setup, you should be able to get more performance out of the dual beambank setup, so long as you're piloting, so long as you're keeping your face towards the enemy. You should be able to beat out the beam arrays. I'm hoping for like at least an Omni or a Vandy shield here out of 34 packs, but I think I'm gonna get screwed over. Yep. Auto clicker failed me. Yeah, the fact that it doesn't remember your last action just sucks. I'm getting screwed on these packs. 2 left. Do I get a Andy or an Omni? Last one. I got screwed. I got screwed right there. Billy, how's it going? Where's Triz? I don't know where Triz is right now. He was saying some creepy things last night, so hopefully he's far away from his computer. Anything that could be keybind, yeah. I feel like there's definitely like a little bit of a war on some quality of life features, and it's a bit annoying. I may open a few weapon packs on this character. Maybe just a few. And yes, a giveaway would probably be a good idea at some point, but right now we already got a few giveaways running, which reminds me, over on my Discord, there's still some giveaways running that are running through the end of the month. One is for a Janeway class command science vessel, so make sure to enter for that if you're interested. And then there's 100 master keys, 10 winners. So 10 keys to 10 winners for a total of 100 master keys being given away there. So thank you again to Remissal and Martin for providing those items for those giveaways. And make sure to join the Discord, link down below, and go to the giveaways channel and enter if you have not already done so. It should be right in the description. So I'm pretty sure I put it there. Promo packs are still active right now. Yeah, it should be my Discord linked in the description. So the second Discord link. For science builds and for starting, I would recommend checking out STO Better. I'll put a link to this in the description, but they have some really good guides on, you know, a variety of things, guides, some builds. The STO Better is done by the folks over on from the Reddit STO builds, a lot of the really big math crunching people over there. So they have quite a few builds and all that posted over here. A bit of guides and all that going over things. There's tier list for like the best hanger pets, the best traits for different scenarios. So like they have a hanger pet tier list to tell you which hanger pets are best, with and without sad. They've also got the trait and duty officer list for a variety of different builds. So if you're ever looking, what's the best traits for me to run on my beam overload build, they have a tier list that will take you right through that. So I will link this in the description here. Yeah, the E-Dolg is a nice ship. The discount is ended, okay. Yeah, STO Better is really good, and I think a lot of people haven't been exposed to it. Like doing YouTube stuff, I know there's a lot of people that prefer to like learn things through YouTube, but what you always have to keep in mind with videos is, you know, eventually things get outdated, right? New things are introduced into the game that are going to change the way that ships are built. You know, maybe a console falls out of favor and a new one takes its place. So written guides like this can be updated much easier than you know, a video. So STO Better, very good source. They don't get much attention, but I think a lot of people would really benefit from knowing about them. So definitely check them out, and I've got them linked in the chat there. The sites.google. The tier list is really good for the traits and offs. Like if you were, you know, they have descriptions or notes here if you're doing beam overload, rapid fire. You know, it'll tell you what the best for different builds are. The best beam overload trait was to not run beam overload. I mean, yeah, that's how I would approach it, but at the end of the day, most people play the game differently than I do. So while I absolutely hate beam overload and think it's a terrible thing, for a lot of people, they really like beam overload because it looks immersive. It makes their ships look like the ones that were in the shows with how they fire. So, you know, for those that want to go and dive into that play style, there's tier lists like that that will tell you which traits are best for that. All right, Dutch Viking, thanks for stopping by. Isn't the next big sale Black Friday? You know, there will be some flash sales before then. There's always going to be flash sales. I want to get some stuff posted to the exchange. I do want to be able to pick up a promo ship during the while the promo event is still running. So just going to get some things posted, and hopefully, you know, over the course of the next few weeks, things sell. It's not a big deal. I'm not in a rush. You know, I've got the event campaign box in my bank, but I Just would like to get some of the EC together. Yeah. How many boxes am I going to open? None. I don't have any EC, and I'm not putting money into the game to gamble. Open? This isn't Triz's. I don't have any sound commands. I find the sound commands on Triz's stream to be way too distracting. Even when I'm in a voice call with him, during his stream, it's hard to hold a conversation with him because of those. Giant Dutch Viking, thank you. Yes, liking the stream does help. It's very much appreciated. You have to tell a streamer off yesterday for doing a cryptic sponsor me comment. Yes, to be honest with you, Stargate, and I'm not going to dive too much into this topic, but I'm not a fan of the amount of grifting that I see happening. And I'm going to leave that at that because I am not diving onto that further on the stream or in any public setting. I bet, yeah. Definitely, that there's too much of that going around. Yeah. Triz is that the sound commands have become such a core part of his stream that he can't really get away from it. So, I thought about adding sound commands in early on, but I would rather not. I don't seem to have any traits here that are worth anything. That's always great to see. I want to continue to hold on to the inquiries for as long as possible. Yeah, Triz is fun to mess around with. That's for sure. Any space traits here? Okay. Those aren't going to be worth anything. Yeah. Well, I can't use any of the really nice elitist sound commands because that would deter people. People don't want to hear me saying bad things about beam overload most of the time because a lot of people really like beam overload, and I don't want to offend people with that. I'm gonna eventually do a video where I'm I've been thinking about this. Okay, it's a video, and this is an idea I've had for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. Single target shootout, where I use the triple test map, and I set up a really balls to the wall beam overload build, exceed rated limit, surgical strikes, and then I compare them all together, and I also factor in a torque boat. And then I do a comparison. Here's the damage from each build after 10 seconds. So you see how much damage they did in the first 10 seconds, the first 30, the first minute, and then over the course of 10 minutes. And just see how each build performs in a short burst and then also over time. That's an idea I've had floating in my head for a while. I just haven't gotten around to. Beam overload, I just am not. I used to be a really big fan of single target builds. There's clips floating around out there of me using a Husnock with cannon rapid fire back when Omega Fighter was around, and we would go into infected, advanced, or elite, and we would just target the gateway and take it out before the sides were down. So I used to really like single target builds, and torpedo builds, they do have a lot of single target, but they also have a lot of AoE. Beam overload is just beam overload, rapid fire, surgical strikes. They're all single target, and that's just not how most of the content in the game is designed. Most content is large groups of enemies, so focusing one at a time, I just don't enjoy that anymore because most of the content is designed where you're just being flooded by a swarm of enemies, and beam overload gets big numbers, but my cannons with cannon scatter volley, they're almost hitting as hard when fully boosted as your single target beam overload is. So just not what I prefer. I don't. You see, I don't build that way. That's why I get why people like beam overload, is because it does make your ships look like the ones in the show. But I focus more on, for me, I care more about the performance than the visuals. It's like, out for when it comes to like DPS chasing, all that, I will use the worst looking ship in the game if it's the one that's the highest performer. A term that I have used before is, well, to be blunt, that I'm a meta whore. I'm gonna follow whatever the meta is. If beam overload did eventually become meta, I'm gonna use it. JB, how's it going, man? Psy AoE. Yeah, I was having a conversation too, actually, this morning about we were theory crafting some stuff for runs. And we were talking about the Thaler runs, especially the Thaleron runs and just DPS in general. Tanking at a high level has pretty much been tactical for a while, but science is definitely, I think a science captain as a tank is probably the best meta choice right now because of the utility. At a high level, nobody cares about attacks in on the tank. What matters is, did anybody die? On my debuff tanks, I'm not running like, I think I have a picture on the builds Discord. Let me find. When I look at a high-end tank right now, do I have it pinned here? Did it get deleted with everything else when I deleted that channel? Okay, I gotta find it. Hold on. Let's go. Runs. Let me find this picture. So the way that the high-end tanks are set up are more utility focused now. And like the plus attacks and crap doesn't matter as much. This is really old. Yeah, this has a twerp on it. So this build's outdated here, but just to give you a general idea. Just to give you a general idea on like one of the older debuff tanks is they don't run tac consoles. They're running so much utility focused stuff on them. Okay, I can't seem to keep that picture up for whatever reason, but you get the point. I'll swap over to a Silic tank that we were using. Waiting for the meta to become AF torpedoes. Engineers are meta on ground. But you have to keep in mind that engineers are meta because of overkill. So every time someone complains about the overkill mechanics with Thaleron Pulse in space or the Agony Redistributor, remind them that if we didn't allow overkill on the parsers, then engineers would be off the tables. They entirely rely on overkill through mines to get the DPS numbers that they get on ground. Yeah, so here's a Silic debuff tank we were messing around with. These debuff tanks, sometimes, in the high-end runs, I'm not even using Mark 15 weapons. There have been cases in some of these high-end runs, I'm using Mark 2s or Mark 4s, and I'm tanking with them. Attacks at that level of play do not matter. And you don't want someone on a tank thinking that they matter at that level of run, because you need to focus more on utility rather than just brute force, tanking DPS. I don't want a tank in a high-end run that does like 400k. I want a tank in a high-end run that's doing like 100k. And that's, or 100, 150k with no attack consoles. I mean, if our DPS is too high on these tanks, we'll just lower our weapon power in the runs. But the Silic, I hate the Silic. I hate how it's impacted the meta. But the reason it's being used so much is because of the IFF console. This console, if marked on a target, can provide up to minus 400 debuff, but for every nearby foe within 10 kilometers, it lowers it by 40. So if you have 5 enemies within 10 kilometers of your target when you hit the console, you're only getting 200 debuff. So if you have multiple people running this console, you get insane amounts of debuff. Albert, glad to help. And if you have any questions, make sure to check out the builds Discord. There's not a ton of conversations going on right now. Things seem to be just quiet a little bit in general for the game, but there's loads of stuff over on the builds Discord. STO Better, which I'll link again, I think is just an amazing resource. The fact that they have tier list over there is just really amazing. Yeah, it's the summer events ended. You have a lot of people burnt out from the event grind. A lot of people just got their event campaign, and a lot of people aren't going to finish this current event because the ground kit module, it might perform okay, but most people don't care about ground. It's just the cycle the game goes through. It'll pick back up in a couple weeks when the next story missions come out. DPRM or immolating phaser lance. I think the DPRM is going to offer you more survivability. I mean, it's offering you a damage boost and survivability, whereas the immolating phaser lance, that is a fair bit of damage, especially on a phaser build. But it's also, the immolating phaser lance goes along with the universal designs trait from the crossfield refit. So I'd say the DPRM, if you don't have, especially if you don't have UD, the DPRM is a really good pick. Yeah, with these tanks, like I said, now I have went into channel runs with a debuff or support tank like this, and then I'll set up like a standard heavy tank. And I've had better results with the support or debuff tanks. Like I've had higher DPS with this type of build. And I survive fine enough in a channel run most of the time. I don't think I've actually died with one of these builds yet in a channel run, but if you're with a really low deeps team, that's possible, but I think most teams are going to get through it fast enough, you don't have to worry. Is this build on the builds channel? No. This specific one, this is something we, like, B team had started to put together right before everyone got burnt out. So it was something work in progress, and then we just stopped. So it just, it never got thoroughly tested in runs, as you can imagine, given as soon as we had people start to get burned out, it pretty much just made the entire group just burn out. But yeah, the support tanking is definitely a fun style of tanking. It's something I want to cover on a video, like a more in depth at some point. But the issue with some of these supporting roles is that they're not as popular, and in general, people are not as receptive to them. JB, can you send me a message on Discord? I have way too many. Or I found you. Never mind. Don't worry. I got it. Send you these pictures. What's this last trait? I had a pretty lengthy conversation with people after that video, Steven, the QA one. Some interesting conversations, but yeah, I feel like after that video, my shot at ever working there is probably not good. Which, you know, to be fair, like the thing with like working at Cryptic is how much would I even be able to influence things? Didn't Spencer get banned? No. I joke about this on Triz's streams, but I would never do anything on my primary account that would, you know, violate the Star Trek Online terms of service. I would never do anything like that. So, the worst thing, well, improve quickly. It's all remote work. So, the QA testing position I applied to earlier this year would have been me just working right from home here in Iowa. But I have never been banned on my primary account, nor from my computer that I use to play the game, nor from my IP address. Yeah, there we go. 99 Cheops, you got it. But I would never do anything like that. But yeah, the with these tanks, UNA with Spencer, terrible. With these tanks, you know, we're all using bowel beams. And remember the bowel beams, like, they work really well with the duty officer. They don't even have slotted. Oh. I should have the shield distribution officer on here. The bowel beams, when they refract on targets or whatever, they like trigger this stuff more than once, if I recall. The shield distribution officer from the what is it? The Delta operations pack. It's why all the tanks use beta instead of Delta at a high level, because they get healing from Agent Neural that's amplified with the bowel beams. Warp core? No comment. You got a bad handle? Terrible. Delta, I mean, Delta does have its use cases. I get why people use it when they're focusing on the attacks in side of tanking, where they just want to get like 100% attacks in. But when you're building up for like for certain environments, I get why people do that. I guess I just build for a different environment. Warp core, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm sorry. That one's not happening. I've never been banned, and I've never done anything against the Star Trek Online terms of service. That's the answer to that question, Warp core. On my primary account. Terrible. Yeah, people that go into chat and spoil things are never fun. So, what is the best career for support? I would say science. I think for people looking to get into a supporting role, science is definitely very good. I would say, you know, I think it's good for people to have a tactical character, because it just clears the content the fastest most of the time. But support or science, I think, is second best after tactical. And then engineers are sitting back there, like at the bottom of the mountain, while science is like 90% of the way there, and techs are up on top, and engineers are just down there thinking, why does Cryptic hate us? Have I ever had a temporary suspension? No. My issue with engineers is every engineer player I know, eventually, that especially that tries to get into really high level stuff, they get frustrated. Because, like, you can get most of the way there with any class, you know, to be completely fair. You can get most of the way there. But when you're like, especially trying to compete record-wise, um, get into really competitive things in the game, engineers start to lack. The only thing engineers have on the space side that is really relevant to extreme high levels of play is the power level boost. What, EPS power transfer or whatever? I'm sorry, Atraz. I know I've got some engineer mains in here. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be too negative there. Like, engineers have their place on ground. And in Infected Advanced, there is actually a use case for engineers in Infected Advanced. The power boost from them can be substantial from a supporting role. But as the actual DPS, they're going to have the hardest time because basically everything an engineer can do, the other classes can do via consoles, abilities, whatever. Documents, how you doing? Okay. So, yeah. Tanking, the ball weapons are still like the meta for tanking. They're really good. You can use other things to tank. You do not have to use bowls, but they're still really good. I like it, JB. How do I feel about House Mokai using surgical strikes? I don't think I don't remember the last time I went into content against the Mokai. Or are they the guys in Hell from Honor or whatever? Hell with Honor? I don't notice it if they are. I want to list some stuff on the exchange. What I wish I had on my account right now was like a more developed ROM Psi character. My original character in the game was actually a Fed Psi, but the issue with that is at a min-max level, it's Fed. Yeah. Engine PvP years ago. I was just talking to Brett and Nick earlier this morning. We were looking at some older PvP stuff. I miss the good old days in PvP. I swallow? I'm not. Oh, that name. That's a good name. I like that. That's a very creative name. You almost got me. Intro, how's it going? Miss the Foundry? Yes. Yeah. Oh, that name. It's a good name. That's gonna be a clip, and that's gonna be like something someone sends to Triz or Master Dude. I hate that I even said that. Oh, terrible. Keys are up. Do we have any promo ships on the market right now? I've just given someone a sound clip and I hate it. I'm gonna be more careful reading names. There's a Valkus up on the exchange. There's one promo ship. Inquiries don't count. Gem attack ship. Gonna ignore that. Not a ton of promos up on the market right now. Yeah, there's a Valkus up on the exchange, 1.5. Yeah, the Valkus, the Romulan version of the Enterprise J. 1.5 billion. Yeah, I saw a few promo ships up recently. Triz, hello. Subterranean homesick alien. That's a very nice rename you did there. I was talking to Nick. I think the Durgath is my favorite version of the Enterprise J. I don't have one myself. I have the Valkys and a Net J on other characters, but the Durgath I like the most visually. So let me show that on here. Durgath. I just like how the Durgath looks. Is there no good pictures on the wiki? Well, that's a very handy picture. The Durgath is just a really long Klingon cruiser, basically. Cheap imitation. What's the ship that looks like flames? That's going to be one of the Fekiri ships. There's a few different Fekiri ships, so I think most of them are in the Mud Store now, right? The Fekiri, Farang, the store. Oh, these things are still going around? Yeah, warships is nice. I really enjoy warships. If you do play warships, make sure to check out the web campaign going on right now. When you go into the armory, it should pop up a video, and you can get some free stuff from it. Lockbox ship. It's like a sword, and it's yellow and red. Martin, you got every ship, man. You pulling. You thinking of anything? The cool? Doesn't the cool ones have flames? But yeah, the cool I think have that color scheme. I could be wrong. Yeah, outside of warships, I've been playing a lot of They Are Billions recently. But that's something single player. I'll usually turn that on my ultra wide to my left here. Then I'll have a TV show or something running on the monitor I use for gaming most of the time. I like to. Some games I just prefer to have on the ultra wide. Some on the 16:9 monitor.
Round and round it goes.
I did forget to mention when I did the video about copying the event campaign stuff over to Tribble that you can't actually get any C-Store stuff over here. You could get fleet ships over here, but you would have to get into one of the few fleets that's built out over on the Tribble test server, which is a bit difficult. Yeah, I think that it's probably one of the Nikul ships. Because those have... I wish this would give you like a visual of the ships if you right-clicked them. Yeah, Damosh, but that's Lobi, right? Pretty sure it's Lobi. Brett, how's it going, man? There's pictures probably on the wiki, so if I go here... This would have been the easiest way. This is the Tadari Raider. And then there's the Atros. These are not the best pictures on the wiki. I wish we need someone to go through on the wiki and put some like better pictures of the ships in, because some of these pictures are a bit brutal. Oh. Well, there is that mod. Does that mod change it? The one that's on like the Nexus mod or whatever, there's one to remove engine trails now. How's the Atros as a ship? Acros, however you pronounce it. A bit dated with its layout, I'd say. Lieutenant Commander Uni Intel and then a Lieutenant TAC pilot. Definitely not the best nowadays. Special trails, okay. That's unfortunate. So yeah, I forgot to mention in that video that the event campaign, if you want to test it over on Tribble, the T6 coupons, you can't actually test those over here because you can't access the C-store. I'm not sure what I'm going to get with my event campaign. To be honest, this is a bit of a spoiler for whenever I get the video done, which is either going to be for tomorrow or Monday. Meant to be out Friday, but things happened. I think the options I'm going to look at, the one that I'm probably going to settle on, and the thing that I'm going to recommend probably at the end of the video is going to be, if you don't know what you want, just toss it in the bank and wait until you figure out what you want. You know, you don't have to use the event campaign box right away. So, like right now, I don't know what ship I want from it. You know, for me, over on the main server, I don't need Lobby. The T6 coupons are cool, but the thing that I'm going to argue in the video is going to be that as a lifetime member, I get, you know, basically 2 T6 ships worth of Zen a year through the lifetime membership. In addition, grinding up the Zen to get a Lobby ship, or grinding up the dill to convert to Zen to get a Lobby ship, it's a slow process, but it's not that difficult if you put enough time in and are patient. So I'm not going to go for the coupons. I'm not going to go, at least I don't think I'm going to go for the Lobby, especially given that I have 7,000 right now. I don't want to go for a lockbox ship. I've got a box sitting in my bank already that I haven't used. I think I'm just going to toss it in the bank until I have something specific that I need. That's probably what I'm going to say as like the final recommendation, because that campaign box, it doesn't expire. If you get it and want to stop playing for 5 years, you can get it, toss it in your bank, uninstall the game for the next 5 years, come back and use it in 5 years. I got a Temporal D7. I got a Temporal D7 already, so I ended up getting one before I got the event campaign. Nick had given me one. It does not auto update. That is one thing. So whatever is in that campaign box is the only stuff that's ever going to be in it. It's not like the other ones. So give me a minute here. I'll be right back. Okay, so Parliament is good for the console for PvP. Yeah, I've heard Brett give some recommendations about that. The issue with the Janeway is the Trailblazer is basically a Janeway, right? I mean, there's some little stat differences, but the Janeway and the Trailblazer are basically the same ship. I know I've made that comparison before, but if I file, copy, if I do ships, I do comparison here. Let me just clear this out. Like I've done this comparison before, but they're very similar ships. So Trailblazer and Janeway. Tempcon, yeah, the Tempcon is a good choice. But yeah, the Janeway and the Trailblazer. The Janeway does have more HP. You know, the Trailblazer makes up for it by having higher shields. It's a back and forth, the stats. The Janeway does move a little bit better. The Janeway also has a battle cloak, but the Trailblazer gets an extra weapon, and it can use dual cannons, whereas the Janeway cannot. But the bridge officer seatings, I talked about this in the review I did for it, but these things are pretty damn close. You know, they have the same spec seats, just very, very similar ships. In fact, you could say that the Trailblazer does have a little bit more flexibility with the bridge officer seating because of that Lieutenant Commander Universal, whereas it's a Lieutenant Universal on the Janeway. But yeah, very, very similar ships. Webs, yes. I would like it if the C-store was more accessible, you know, or accessible at all over on the test server, but I don't think they're going to change that anytime soon. Yeah, so I had a temporal D7 already from a couple years back, but it was on a character that I didn't really use that much anymore. It used to be like my KDF PvP character, and then I just stopped using it for a really long time. Where is it on this list? Disco D7's definitely like a top 5 pick. That it's just it's a good ship for people that like energy weapons. Like it's a good platform. The trade-off of it's really good for AoE based builds. I don't necessarily think though that Ruin holds as much value for single target. Because you need to be killing a lot of targets to build those stacks up. Yeah, I mean, Subterranean, when Bordicus was on one of the recent 10 forwards, he basically said that he's entirely packed with working on ships for the foreseeable future, so I think a lot of their focus is clearly on pumping out ships. Is UD used in a lot of PvE DPS builds? Yes. Yeah, that's 10% crit chance and 50% severity from Universal Designs if you can keep it up. It's pretty much a staple on any high-end DPS build right now. So yeah, I had a D7 temporal on this character for a very long time. I used it during the feedback pulse meta days, if that tells you how long ago that was. And this character hadn't been updated much after the feedback pulse nerf. If combat pets are worth it, no. I don't think most combat pets really add that much damage-wise. I mean, I don't do a ton of ground, so I can't really say for sure, but from what my experience, I don't think they do that much. Yeah. I would like to have some more end game content, some more really nice elite queues, or even just like a new reason to grind elite queues. You know, none of us care about R&D materials anymore for the most part. Um, Even if you're a new player, most of the R&D materials are super cheap on the exchange. So we don't really have an incentive to play elite most of the time because the rewards just aren't worth it. I'd like to have a reason to, you know, go out and grind elite. Um, I did forget to go over some stuff at the beginning with the Muds market. You know, we've got that new bundle in. I talked about the 50% sale, but I didn't talk about the 75% off sale for everything else. And to be honest with most of you, I don't think most of this stuff is worth it. And I think most of you probably feel the same way. The only thing that like has a meta presence right now is the reiterative structural capacitor is nice for some tank builds, not every tank build, but it's an okay tank console. Um Ground item wise, none of the ground stuff really looks that crazy to me. It's nothing like must have. For the ships, the Rising Weather Control Vessel, if you're looking to do an EPG build, is probably going to be a must have. The console off of it is really good. The Bentham Cruiser, this is one of the first lockbox ships. Actually, was it the first T6 lockbox ship? So it's really dated, and there's a reason they put it into the mud store right away. It just isn't that great. The Rising Corvette has an okay experimental weapon on it. The Soliton Wave Impeller, well, more than okay. It's like one of the best experimental weapons in the game, so if you're someone that does a lot of stuff with escorts or raiders, the Rising Corvette probably worth looking at. Yeah, there's more people doing PvP right now than there is high-end DPS, so the ship itself is not great. It's you're getting it for the console basically. If you want a very good like budget science ship, the Lucari Hokun, is it? That you can get from a tier 5 colony. Or no, it's Lucari Journer Scout Ship. The Lucari Journer Scout Ship from the Fleet Colony is a really good budget exotic based sci ship. Is PvP making a comeback? No. There's always been a very dedicated PvP scene. It's just they don't always get that much visibility. But I know there's, you know, the common joke of there's like 5 PvP players. Realistically, I think there's more people doing PvP than most people give Stowe credit for. Because especially back in the day, PvP used to be really fun. It's obviously there's been a lot of issues over the years, but there are still people that do it. Yeah. It's as soon as, well, the issue with like PvP is, you know, when you're doing DPS stuff, you know, there's over 100 times skill difference between the player base when it comes to PvE DPS. You know, a really high end player is going to be 100 times better, if not more, than someone that doesn't understand the game. Now, you take that, you know, in PvE, that doesn't matter to that lower DPS player because it's just PvE, you know, you're shooting enemies. But in PvP, the issue becomes the new player that, you know, is not even 100th as good as the better player is going up against a significantly better player and just gets absolutely destroyed. So, like, it's a big issue. A lot of people don't want to stick around to learn things, and like Brett said, it happens in both PvP and high-end PvE. Like, people get really burnt out before they actually get to the high levels of things. But look, I need to start wrapping things up. I think, and I need to update this. Let me get this updated quick. Just give me a second. Yeah, Chrome Nuke, thank you for the membership there. Let me get you added to the list here. Yep. So, yeah, I know it's not like a super long stream, but I got some real life stuff to go take care of. So, once again, thank you to everyone that stopped by today. Thank you to all channel members for the continued support. Next video will either be out either Sunday or Monday. Probably going to end up being Monday, just because of some real life stuff that I'm getting messaged about. So, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Next stream will be, next Saturday, of course, and there will be videos out at least Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. So thanks for stopping by. See you guys around.